Hi, welcome to the SOFA, the Solutions Open Forum and AMA. Ask me anything. So let's talk about the other side of you.
The other side.
Yeah, the side that I know better. We work together.
Yes.
You as a consultant, it was so helpful. I mean, my life changed completely because we worked together.
Oh,
and
thank
I
you
was
very much.
so grateful for having worked with you. Now, I didn't realize that you're a principal M&A partner. I didn't realize your title because I always saw you as my consultant.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I mean, the principal M&A partner thing, I mean, I need to say it because since I partnered with Annette Lawler, you know,
Okay.
and we basically transformed Lion People Global into a growth solutions company. I brought in my growth strategy expertise, but also my M&A expertise.
Okay.
Because, I mean, she came from the talent solutions background, and because of my background in leadership teams of like fast growing, you know, LSPs, I was bringing the growth strategy and M&A expertise to this mix. So now we have, you know, really transformed the company to service clients in anything they require in order to grow and exit. And our clients include not only LSPs and technology companies, but we also have clients that are private equity firms,
Okay.
venture capitalists.
They are looking to invest
Exactly,
in the
to
industry.
invest. And they turn to us for our expertise because, of course, I mean, I've been in this industry for 30 years. So everything that I have learned over the years, it's valuable. And the conversations that we're having, you know, with CEOs and C-suites, sometimes they just, you know, even if they buy companies through us, they sometimes also come for advice. I mean, as in, you know, what do you see? You know, what do you think would be best for us to diversify into? You know, what is the average profitability out there?
Okay, so I'm a buyer. What do you see as trends and what would you suggest?
So, I mean, the one thing that we have been discussing here at the Taos conference about, you know, revenue declines in localization, that's real. I mean,
Right.
those revenue declines are happening because, you know, the price per unit has been dropping. So it means you need a lot more volume in order to generate revenue growth.
Sure.
But the other aspect of that is that profitability is also increasing.
Okay.
So sometimes with a little bit less revenue, companies are able to generate more profits and more EBITDA.
And at the end of the day, this is what makes it attractive.
Exactly. So in order to grow, I mean, you actually need to add geographies or you need to add services and business lines and new clients. Because, I mean, extracting or maximizing growth from existing clients, I mean, at the moment is very hard because there is the reverse trend. I mean, there are certain things that are so AI enabled that basically the budget for that has dropped, you know, dramatically in a lot of cases. But for the companies that have started the pivot in time, which means not this year, not last year, but
Right.
they already started working on it. They have been able to already position themselves as high value contributors to their clients' business goals. So they have been positioning content, not translation, not words. And as I was saying earlier at the conference today, I see the future here in being able to provide professional services that are AI enabled, which means that a lot of the stuff that would have been done manually in the past or semi-automated, I mean, now it can be heavily automated, but the intervention of the human experts in the process is about managing confidence and managing risk.
You were talking, you made that comment.
Yeah, because it's
very smart.
Because it's actually like, when you look at it, it's like you're looking at client portfolios. And what you want to be able to say to your clients is, if I'm helping you with your multilingual global content, if you leave it with me, it's in safe hands.
Yeah.
And I can prove it to you because I have the KPIs and all the data analytics by which I know that we are doing well and that you can trust that the content will not land you in court, for example.
I see.
So I think that if you position your business that way, you stop talking about words and you start talking about price per small units, and you're basically saying, I am bringing the value that my expertise and my technology
And I'm elevating your brand.
Can
I'm
give-
elevating you
exactly.
as a client. Yes.
And you're elevating the conversation as well.
This is true. This is true. And let me go back to what you said about the increase in profitability. Do you think this is due to technology, or is it that we're becoming smarter, after all?
It's a combination of all these things,
Okay.
because it means that you're requiring, you're requiring less people to manage, larger, books of business,
Mhm.
and that a lot of the repetitive tasks and that were wasteful
Yeah.
have been eliminated from the process. So what it means is that, like, if you're able to manage more business or growing business with less people involved, but that you have the right people that you need to involve,
The
and that you can find the needle in the haystack. I need an expert that is I don't know, a Harley Davidson enthusiast based in this location, so that they can tell me if this image is appealing, to the brand enthusiasts. And perhaps that intervention will be, yes, it is suitable. That's it.
It's a seal of approval.
It's the seal of approval, but that's valuable.
Yeah.
I mean, and that can be considered valuable. We're no longer talking about minutes or words or even
wasting our time with stupid errors that
exactly
that we could do, spelling and things like that.
Mhm.
Which makes a whole lot of difference. I mean, I think, are we getting mature enough to the next level? Because we've been talking about this for the past 20 years. I've been in this industry almost 30 years. Do you think that we're reaching another level with the advent of Gen AI? Is it, are we becoming mature enough to enter the boardroom and elevate, as you said, elevate the value, but also elevate the conversation? Are we sitting down with the decision makers at this point?
I think that we are. I think that we are, but everything goes in cycles.
Mhm.
Okay, and I've been in the industry for 30 years, and I've seen a few cycles. Right now, if you've noticed, a lot of companies are choosing CEOs that come from outside of industry, that the private equity firm or whatever, they have chosen that person because they are specialized in optimizing businesses and growing them to a certain level. However, I'm still seeing that some of those executives, sometimes they lack the perspective of the industry. So having a good mix, is helpful, because there are certain things that we have seen in other incarnations in the past that for me are very, or even for you, are easy to spot.
Yeah.
Or we've dealt with this problem before. It looked different then, but I mean, it's actually the same problem. I think that combination, can be quite useful. But I think that the conversations are being elevated because I think that what we heard in there today was right. I mean, nobody wants to talk about translation at these decision maker meetings. Nobody wants to talk about translation. Nobody wants to talk about segments, or nobody wants to talk about that.
Price per word.
They want to talk about their business goals and like where the challenges are. And I think that if you bring the conversation there, you have a chance to succeed. Of course, the more diversified your client portfolio is, the more services you can offer, the more you can find
the pieces of the puzzle. And
exactly. The more you can find places where you can actually sell your expertise. But
which links back to the global content solutions provider. That was the panel. Arl is hopefully coming to join us later.
Yeah.
But this is, how we position ourselves, and you help us, design the whole strategy around this.
Exactly. And I think that, I mean, just to give a kind of like a message of hope out there, because some people say, oh, it's too late for me. I think somebody said it today. No, it's not. It's never too late to pivot. I mean, like you have years, but the thing is, you need to understand that there are certain things that we are not turning back. So there is an opportunity for you to choose, where you want to go. And if you don't feel like doing that, you can always hand over your business to somebody who will.
It's true.
And make that choice, consciously, and with, deliberate intention. The other thing that we might see as a cycle that happened 25 years ago, I mean, just bear in mind that if we were talking in terminology of Game of Thrones, I mean, I'm from the House of Berlitz, found Lionbridge. because those were the largest mergers
Yeah.
in localization history
So you've been going through mergers and
25
acquisitions?
years ago. And at that time, that level of consolidation, not consolidation of, buy and build platform, or a company, buying smaller companies and just growing by acquisition. Those were really large mergers, and I think that the market nowadays is mature for those large mergers again.
Okay.
For companies that perhaps were non-existent then but have grown to this point, and some of them are these big technology providers.
Which we saw with RWS that when SDL and Moravia. Do you think there is more consolidation coming up?
There could be, yeah.
Okay.
But I will say, and this is my opinion, that is shared by many, but I'm ready to have this argument with whoever. I don't think that being a public company allows you to approach growth the same way.
Okay.
And this is why we're seeing more and more private equity backed businesses as opposed to public companies. And I think that we might see mergers of private equity backed
players. Okay.
Private equity backed large players or medium large players. Yeah.
Interesting.
But I would also invite smaller players to consider joining forces with others. Not necessarily an exit, but joining forces. It takes maturity, obviously, to pursue a merger as opposed to exit. But I think that it's one of the options that should be considered more often. I find. I'm
remembering what you said about Annette and you, because the talent is there. I see so many talented people there. Sometimes they're struggling. I think my case, when we merged with Oxo back in 2018, it gave me, breath again. And now with PowerLink, when we joined PowerLink, the PowerLink family last year, a whole new road opened up for us because now we have access to technology. We can do a much bigger offer. So yeah. Are you open to talking with smaller players as well, or just the big ones?
Well, we are open to talking to everybody, but it is no secret that the more value you've built into your business, the better your exit will be. So some small players who want to exit, when we've assessed them, we realize that basically they're not going to achieve the kind of exit that they expect.
Yeah.
So we encourage them to try to build value or try to consider other options. Companies start getting, interesting, to go to market, once they have passed 4 or 5 million
in revenue. EBITDA. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
No, EBITDA, what really makes any company attractive is if you can show that you have, or that you're going to reach 1 million in EBITDA. That starts being, interesting. And for technology companies, the same.
Is it the same? We're talking about the same figures with technology, or is it?
Yeah, practically the same. But the reason why I'll say this is that, if you are an early stage startup and you don't have revenue, yes, you have not proven yourself in the market. So it's going to be very difficult to talk about an exit. Unless you are, I don't know, changing your mind and saying, no, I want to do something else and I want to hand this over to somebody. But technology companies that have proven themselves in the market and they have upwards from 5-6 million and they have big logos in their client portfolio. Even if it's just, let's say, a handful of enterprise accounts and the other ones are smaller, but you've proven yourself and that you actually see that your product gets traction with big players, that can be looked at for exit. And in fact, we have a few that have come to us.
And you have a few in your portfolio as well.
With that, yes. Okay. Yeah.
And we're talking about language technology, not technologies. We're not.
No, even outside
Silicon Valley.
Like some of the technology companies that we're talking to, they have. The inception of those companies has been outside of the industry, but they were catering for media and digital marketing, for example, not
Okay.
considering, the typical localizations.
Okay.
So those or data services,
Okay.
and the companies that come to us, they would know of us because of the industry commonality, contacts, network, etc. But the companies that we go look for are in near adjacencies in a lot of cases, because we know, based on the criteria that our buyers give us, we know that they are looking for those, and they've been looking in spaces where they can't find anything as interesting. So, and there are many interesting companies out there.
Nice.
Yeah.
It's good to know. So new players that we haven't heard of, or
Yeah, I mean, some of those names, I mean, even before I assessed them, I had not heard of those
wow.
companies necessarily, but then you look at what they have achieved, and it's, it's
Yeah.
incredible. So it's very exciting.
Very good. Olga, thank you so much. It was a pleasure as usual. Thank you.
The pleasure is mine.
And you look
Anytime,
amazing.
Fabi. Thank you.